Chapter 20. The Social Cost. The door didn't burst open. It beeped. Beep. Beep. Click. The electronic lock disengaged, overridden by a master key. Arthur didn't move. He was standing in the middle of the living room, wearing a dress shirt stained with dried champagne dough and a pair of suit trousers he had managed to pull on inside out. 3 men entered. 2 were building security, thick-necked men in polyester blazers. The third was Miller. Miller looked different. He wasn't wearing his usual fleece vest. He was wearing a dark suit. He held a cardboard box in his hands. He looked terrified. "Arthur." Miller's voice cracked. He stepped over a pile of hardened flour. "Oh my God." Arthur straightened his spine. He tried to summon the director persona, but the software was corrupted. "Miller," Arthur said. His voice was rasping. "I was just recalibrating the acoustic environment." He gestured vaguely at the shattered 8K monitor. The refresh rate was causing interference. Miller stared at him. He stared at the hammer on the floor. He stared at the spiderweb fracture on the balcony glass. "You sent the emails, Arthur," Miller whispered. "You sent them to everyone. The board, the clients. You told Thorne he was a legacy node, and you were going to delete him." "It was a metaphor," Arthur snapped. The irritability hit him like a physical blow. A sudden, hot spike of rage in his chest. Interdose withdrawal. The Ambien had worn off, and the gabapentin tank was empty. The buffer was gone. "Do they not teach metaphors in middle management anymore?" "Stop," Miller said. He held up the box. "I'm not here to argue. HR sent me. I have to collect your laptop, your badge, and your phone." "My phone is personal property," Arthur said. "The company pays the bill," Miller countered. "Hand it over." One of the security guards stepped forward. "Do it, sir. Or we call the NYPD. They're already on the way for a wellness check. You want to be here when they arrive." Arthur looked at the guard. He looked at the open laptop on the desk, the screen displaying the ruins of his career. Logic gate. Option A, resist. Result, arrest. Involuntary psychiatric hold. Option B, comply. Result, ejection. Freedom of movement. Arthur walked to the desk. He closed the laptop. He picked up his badge. He picked up his phone. He handed the laptop and badge to Miller. He held onto the phone. "I need the device," Arthur said. "It contains medical data." Miller hesitated. He looked at the wreckage of the apartment. He looked at Arthur's eyes, hollow, dark, desperate. "Fine," Miller said. "Keep the phone. I'll report it lost. But the SIM card is dead. They cut the line an hour ago." "Generous," Arthur sneered. "We have to go, Arthur," Miller said. "The building manager is evicting you. Breach of lease. Destruction of property. You have 5 minutes to grab your things." Arthur didn't pack clothes. He didn't pack toiletries. He went to the pantry. He grabbed the empty bottles. M1, M2, M3. He shook them. Nothing rattles. He threw them into his messenger bag. He grabbed the charger for his phone. He grabbed his wallet. He walked back to the living room. "I'm ready," Arthur said. Miller looked at him with a mixture of pity and revulsion. It was the look you gave a dog that had been hit by a car but wasn't dead yet. "Arthur," Miller said softly, "what happened to you? You were the machine." "The machine broke," Arthur said. They escorted him to the lobby. They walked him out the front door. It was raining again. The gray sludge of the East River matched the sky. Miller stopped under the awning. Arthur stepped out onto the sidewalk, the rain instantly soaking his thin shirt. "Hey!" Miller called out. Arthur turned. Miller reached into his pocket. He pulled out a $20 bill. He tried to hand it to Arthur. "Get some food, man. Real food." Arthur looked at the money. 2 months ago, he was making 6 figures. He was dining at the Modern. He was optimizing global data structures. Now, his subordinate was handing him a 20 like he was a homeless man on the subway. Arthur slapped Miller's hand. The bill fluttered to the wet pavement. "I don't need your charity," Arthur spat. "I need my latency fixed." He turned and walked away. He walked for blocks. He didn't know where he was going. He just knew he had to keep moving. The akathisia was coming back. The inner restlessness. If he stopped walking, his skin would start to burn. He found a bus shelter. He sat down. He looked at his phone. No service. He connected to a public Wi-Fi signal from a nearby coffee shop. He needed a lifeline. He needed a ground wire. He opened WhatsApp. "Elena," he typed. His fingers were shaking so bad he hit the wrong keys. "Arthur. Elena. Please. I know what it looks like." It was a reaction. Drug interaction. "I fixed the code. I can fix this. Read." She was online. "Arthur. Don't ignore me. I am not crazy. I am just uncalibrated. I need you to authorize a transfer. I need a place to stay for 24 hours until the inventory resets." Typing. Arthur stared at the screen. The 3 dots appeared. "Elena, Arthur. Stop. Arthur. I won't stop. I am the architect. We fit together. You saw it. The hub and the mesh. Elena, you aren't an architect anymore. You're a liability. I saw the emails, Arthur. I saw what you sent to the VP. You threatened to delete him." Arthur felt a cold flush of shame. He didn't remember that specific phrasing. "Arthur. It was a metaphor. Why is everyone so literal?" "Elena. I'm blocking this number. Do not come to my apartment. Do not come to the office. If you do, I will file a restraining order." "Arthur. Elena. Wait. I have nothing. They took the apartment. I have no inventory. I'm going to crash." Typing. "Elena." Then crash, Arthur. Maybe that's the only way you wake up. "Arthur, you loved me." The dots appeared. They stayed for a long time. "Elena. I loved the quiet version of you. The one who was in pain but was still there. I don't know who this is. This is just a chemical looking for a host. You are blocked." Arthur stared at the gray text bubble. He screamed. It wasn't a word. It was a raw animal noise of frustration. He threw the phone. It skidded across the wet pavement, the screen shattering against the curb. He sat there, breathing heavy, ragged gasps. Passers-by stepped around him, giving him a wide berth. They saw a man in a ruined dress shirt, screaming at a bus stop in the rain. They didn't see a director. They didn't see a genius. They saw a junkie. Arthur looked at his hands. They were trembling violently now. The cold rain was seeping into his bones. He had no job. He had no home. He had no Elena. He had no Miller. And most terrifying of all, he had no pills. The gabapentin from the bodega was gone. The Ambien was gone. The Xanax was gone. The receptors in his brain, starved of the GABA they had been bathed in for 2 months, began to scream. The world got loud. The traffic noise became a physical assault. The light from the street lamp was blinding. Arthur wrapped his arms around himself. "Signal to noise," he whispered. rocking back and forth, signal to noise. But there was no signal left, only noise, and the noise was getting louder.